Two. Welcome back to WNST, Jackson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. We are live on Radio Row with Super Bowl 54 coverage. I don't know if this guy's like a Raven fan or not, but I know that there are large associations to Baltimore for Montel Williams. Yeah, I saw your name on the docket here, and I said, man, I'm doing Baltimore positive. I'd be a fool to not have Montel Williams on here from Super Bowl. What's going on, man?
Well, I was born in Baltimore. I was born in Cherry Hill. So for those who don't know that, I was born in Cherry Hill. And left and did 22 years total in the military, both the Marine Corps and the Navy, and started my show, the Montel Williams Show, for 17 years, and have had a couple of other 17-year careers in the mix. And I now live in Miami. And,
good for you.
Yeah, I live down here in Miami. And,
man, I should be staying at your place tonight.
There you go.
I was looking for a place in South Beach. They get the sleep number bed over there. I'm like, nobody's sleeping in that tonight. That's be the only bed in Miami.
That's probably the only one available. They could probably sell that bed tonight for about $800 a night.
So, for you doing military makeover, some thoughts about that, and obviously what the Super Bowl represents down here in Miami, bringing people like you out.
Well,
right?
It's really interesting. There's a brand new show for me. The show's been on for now almost 5 years. I took over as host about a year and a half ago. And what it is, it's called Military Makeover with Montel, where we take veterans who own their own homes and deserving veterans that we then make their home over from the ground up.
Okay.
Giving them what would be a forever home. And then it just so happens that our next episode that premieres on January 14th, this particular family is the Hickson family. And a lot of people don't remember who the Hickson family is, but here in Miami, in South Beach, or southern Florida, 2 years ago, almost on the 17th, we had an incident at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. If you remember the high school shooting.
Sure.
Well, 17 people gave their lives. 14 of them were students. 3 of them were teachers. One of those teachers happened to be Coach Chris Hickson. Coach Chris Hickson was the head of the athletic department for Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And when that security guard was cowering behind a tree in a bush, Coach Hickson went running in to save the lives of some of his students. Unfortunately, he gave his life. But what a lot of people don't know about him is that he was a 27-year veteran in the United States Navy and served, did tours overseas, came home, and, he remembered wholeheartedly his oath of office, which was, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So even
big
though
words this week, by the way, where we're sitting and where we are right now. Yes.
Big words, and, big truths. I mean, we wouldn't have the opportunity to be down here celebrating the Super Bowl or celebrating the American way of life without the guys who have given so much for us. And, he gave his life and left behind a wife and a special needs son who we then did a makeover of their home for.
Nice.
And Debbie Hickson, who's a surviving wife, would be a gold star wife had he died in combat. But he did die in combat on American soil, protecting our children. And we got to remember that,
Heroes
that episode
come in a lot of different ways.
of different ways, brother. Yeah. So we actually we do a makeover of a home. We take 10 days. We take the family out of their home, put them in a hotel. 10 days later, they come back to a new home from the ground up.
How many people have you done this for?
This is the 21st family that the military makeover has done. I have been involved in the last 6.
Okay.
And hope to be involved in the next 26.
All right, we got a little Baltimore background with you. And, I do Baltimore positive, and we got another mayor that's getting indicted. You're going to go to prison. We got elections coming up. We got Elijah coming. We got the president saying awful things about our city. There's The Wire. There's all of that. You do see it from afar now, right? You see it as Baltimore's a far-off place a little bit that you used to know, but we're trying to figure it out, right?
I get to come back and forth and to visit family because my family's still there. My father was Herman Williams, who was the first African-American chief of a big city fire department in the country. Serving
the people.
Serving the people. He also served in 3 positions. He was a commissioner of public works, commissioner of transportation in Baltimore. So he's retired now. My dad is still working every day.
He's seen it all.
At 86, he's working every day as a government.
When did he start working for the city?
Jeez, man, back in the 50s.
So he
started off in the 50s working
Tommy seen the whole deal, the whole thing.
Went through mayor after mayor after mayor after mayor. Went through a time when Baltimore wouldn't.
What does he make of all this?
It's sad. It's sad. A lot of us who are Baltimoreans, think about in some ways the plight of our city, but we understand that right under the surface there are hardworking people who want to make Baltimore better. And,
Every day.
what a lot of people don't understand is Baltimore, up until about a year ago, 2 years ago, was the number 2 most visited place in the country. Because you got the Science Center, you got the National Aquarium, you got, Chesapeake Bay, you got Fort McHenry.
I live at the Inner Harbor. I see the buses that used to come through. But after the Freddie Gray, I looked out the window that night, and I tell people this, and I share this all the time lately, but this is 4.5 years ago. My wife was battling leukemia. She survived. She's doing great. But the inspiration part, and stuff that you do, and the Oprahs and the Ellens and the people that try to make the world a better place in whatever way they try to do that. I looked out the window and saw the city on fire, and I've been doing sports 3 decades, right? And the next day I started talking about the Orioles and the NFL draft. The Capitals were doing well right then. And it just got very easy to say, you know what, man, that's a black problem, it's a white problem, it's a race problem, it's a police problem, it's a politics problem, it's a poverty problem, it's an education problem, it's a gun problem, it's all of that wrapped in, man. That's sticky, man. I'm going to stay out of that for now. And then 4.5 years later, there's a mess, and I can't stay out of it. At some point, it's like Trump. At some point, you gotta get in, and you gotta at least say what you believe and fight for what you believe in.
Yeah, but I don't think you need to disparage.
Sure enough.
I don't believe that that's necessary. You don't kick anybody when they're down, and Baltimore might just be down, but Baltimore could spring back. There are a lot of people in that city. Man, my family still lives there. My family lives there. All you have to do is, what happened to, the Mayor Smokes? What happened to the people who literally reached out and said, we can make this a better place if we do this together?
Well, think about sports, Montel. Now I'm here. It's my 27th Super Bowl. The Ravens have been in the league almost a quarter of a century. They got the number 1 star.
Love the Ravens. What happened to them this year? Come on now.
Here we go.
Come on. I can talk some trash about that.
I know you can. And
how about giving up when you had an opportunity?
So you grew up in a world of Baltimore where there were Colts and there were Orioles.
Oh,
right?
I remember when the Colts took off out of town at night in a bus.
And what did we do? We rolled our sleeves up. I don't have sleeves on right now because I'm in Florida. But we rolled our sleeves up, roll your sleeves up, and we went and we got another football team, and we built Camden Yards, and we said, we think sports are important. We think it's going to bring more people to the aquarium, more people to hotels, more people. The one time I ran into you at dinner at the Capitol Grill, more people into the city. And I invested 2 decades ago. I live downtown. I've lived on the 23rd floor downtown for 17 years. I can't give my place away right now.
Right.
Because of the wire, because of the perception, because of all of it, some realities, some perceptions, but either way, then there has to be the part where we fix it. We fix it the way when I go to Cleveland, it's gotten nicer. When I go to Nashville, Oakland, there's a lot of New York. When you were a younger guy, New York was a place you didn't go in the 70s, right? We need to fix it. And I don't know what the answers are, but I know we're going to fix it together because the outside's not going to come in and help us.
No way. But at the same time, Baltimore has, a plethora. You got a city that's filled with young entrepreneurs, with young, vibrant engineers that we just need somebody to step up to the plate and take over that leadership position and say, if not who, if it's not you, who? It's time for you to step back up to the plate. I mean, everybody can kick the city when it's down and say that the city has nothing to offer. But if you are a Baltimorean, you're part of that city that has nothing to offer. So it's time for you to step up to the plate and say, wait a second, we do have something to offer. You drive up Charles Street. You see all those little small restaurants that have popped up out there, going up that way.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, really great. Well, we don't talk enough about that.
Well, we had Restaurant Week last week, so we do talk about that. Montel Williams joining us here. So, for you and being in Miami and all, being involved in good causes in the military,
sure.
That comes from parenting, right? That comes from military service and your mission. It's nice to have a mission that works with what you do publicly, right?
It is, but it's also, I think we have to understand, and this is as a nation at all, we have to understand that it's incumbent upon all of us to do something bigger than just ourselves. It's like, not only am I here to talk about, my show, which is Military Makeover with Montel, but, right this minute, as we have hawks in Washington, D.C., circling in the sky, trying to figure out how quickly they can send another person's child off to die in another war. We have Americans that are being held in prisons, especially like in Iran. There's an American that's been in prison right now in Iran for 558 days for no other reason than the fact that he went to visit a girl that he thought he loved. That's it. Went to visit, has been tortured, has been beaten, has been held, and we don't talk about it. I worked for, almost a full year or a half a year to get a soldier out of prison that was being held in Mexico, Sergeant Tamarisi. Then I worked for almost a year and a half to help get a soldier who was being held in Iran, Amir Hekmati, out of prison in Iran. And we got him out of prison because finally somebody started talking about it. And right now, there's a gentleman that's Michael White who is in prison in Iran right now as the president talks all this trash. They do nothing to get this American home. And here's a guy who served in our military, served as a cook. They have the nerve to have him arrested as a spy. And, the guy was a cook. He was over visiting his girlfriend. And, they just decided, let's grab one. And they grabbed him and they put him in prison. He was
like North Korea. That situation was horrific.
He had just gotten over one bout of cancer. When he went there, just finished some chemotherapy. Still has a chemotherapy port in that the Iranians aren't cleaning. The guy's had bad teeth right now. His mother fears for his life. He could die at any moment if we don't just step up to the plate and say, I want to do something bigger than me. So why don't we do the same thing when it comes to that's what I do. I work on trying to find a way to help the underdog. And right now, in some ways, Baltimore is the underdog.
Sure.
But
we're
all the Baltimoreans saying, I want to help this underdog. Step up to the plate. Start talking about the positive and not just the negative, and I think that we can spin ourselves out of this hole.
Tell everybody where to find you and what you're up to. I will recap again that the military makeover is the best way to find you, right?
Absolutely. You can go to militarymakeover.com with my military makeover with Montel.com. You can find us, get information about the show. I'm on every
Somebody out there knows somebody that may be a worthy.
Correct. Okay. They can actually recommend on one for us. And we take applications and we take a look and then we pick one. So we pick the people that we make over the home for based on someone who has actually submitted their name. So submit away.
I know you're smarter than me because you live down here, man. It's nice down here.
It's beautiful down here,
It's nice down here, bro. I mean, it's all right.
It's nice. The weather is over the top. Come on,
Ain't Cherry Hill.
Ain't Cherry Hill.
Nothing wrong with Cherry Hill, no.
No, but
But it ain't Miami.
a different place. That's all. Yeah.
Montel, nice to meet you.
Thanks for having my friend.
Montel Williams joining us here. Baltimorean. Once you're Baltimore, you're Baltimore friend.
Always, man, for life.
All right, just making sure, man.
For life.
Working the Rofo coffee here. He's caffeinated down here in Miami. Super Bowl 54 coverage continues. All of it brought to you by our friends at Raskin Global, as well as our friends at Sporticulture. Big thanks for the helmets. We are WNST.net, AM 1570. Randy Reed.
I had to slip that in.
You're going to get Terrell Suggs involved,
I
too,
know,
right? We got a Baltimore thing here. And
go.
we never stop talking Baltimore sports.